regresamos a... Iba a decir Mundo Disco Elysium. Sigamos desfaciendo entuertos. Ya hablamos con este señor. No es un día diferente, así es que no podemos preguntar
Inside, you see a set of steering levers,
sobre
a
los
radio
avances.
microphone, a pull-out toolbox, and as you tap on the gauge, the indicator pin jerks as if startled. It's in the large orange sector, indicating the engine is warm. Next to the gate.
Now, that's enough fun with the foldable headlights. I know they are mesmerizing. They are also fragile. I'm not going to turn it on for you again.
This Post Lavantorie mail collection box has been heavily vandalized with graffito. A closer inspection reveals a faint sticker on the side reads, RCM Emergencies Desk number 8102, with a slogan, Mankind, be vigilant. The box seems happy. Eat shit pig, fucked by the coon, and St. G with a crown have been scribbled on it. Jenny is a whore, and best set mailbox also. The mail collection box seems cathartic, thankful even. So do you. You shudder, then you swallow.
Hello, sir. Step right in. The store is open. Are you interested in a new and exciting book? It's a bookstore, sir. We sell books, postcards, and some board games. It's called Crime, Romance, and Biographies of Famous People.
Books? Postcards? Easy. Even a kid would know all of this. Don't be a fool. As an expert, it's your duty to tell what you know to everyone.
Sir, are you okay? You've been standing here silently for a while now. Okay, sir. I'll try to answer any questions you have. I hope they're about books. A fridge?
Se me olvidaba que necesitamos una nevera para guardar el fiambre.
You mean like the ice bear fridge? Man, that's scary.
Ice bear fridge?
Yes, like a bear but white. There's a fridge below the building in the basement with red glowing eyes. I went back there once, behind the bookstore.
Fue buena idea hablar con ella.
Mum doesn't want me to go there anymore. Not that I want to. It was pretty scary. Yes. That's a problem. The only way in is through the bookstore, but my mum is pretty strict about not letting anyone in. But I don't know, you're a policeman. Maybe you can convince her somehow. Anyway. My name is Annette, sir. My mum, her name is Plaisance. She owns the store. She's inside minding the register or organising the stock. Feel free to step in and browse our wares. I'm signalling that the store is open. Otherwise, people might not know. They'd miss out on the crime, romance, and biographies of famous people. Oh, no, sir. I'm happy to help Mum by luring in customers. Besides, I have some hot juice in my vacuum bottle to keep warm. I do my studies at home at the moment. I have to help Mum keep this place running. School? Well, mine is a big yellow building on Boogie Street, and the people there run it. They say it's a charity. Mum says it's necessary to do both because it builds character. Mum says a proper worker is dutiful. That's how you get ahead in life. You succeed.
There is stress and unease behind these words. She's reciting etiquette.
Mum says it's peachy. She was a little afraid at first. There's talk about this house being cursed.
Behind her, the window has been boarded up. You sense the boards creaking, twisting for a second, and some kind of doubt in her tense shoulders.
Cursed in the way that makes them say that no business has ever really thrived here, sir. That they all go... Well, they run out of money and have to stop doing business.
We can go into the bookstore and ask about the case, but I don't see much more to look into here.
Yes. Please do also look at our wares inside. The postcards and board games are there, sir.
It does not manifest itself
qué
in any way.
fiestas,
It does not exist. I liked it better when we were talking about whether it's appropriate to stand out in the freezing weather. No such thing.
Boo.
Anything else you wanted to talk about, sir? Nothing really, sir. Mum doesn't allow me to sneak around in the back rooms or the cellar. I don't really know what's there. Maybe I can tell you about some of our books instead. Crime fiction is about murders or burglaries or things like that, and the work of a policeman or a private detective who's trying to solve a crime and catch the criminals.
Crime is what we were solving before this conversation began.
And it's kind of like a puzzle too. You can guess who the criminal is or how the good guys are going to catch him. You don't look much like a policeman. Didn't mean to offend, sir. Sorry, sir. It's just that you don't look like Dick Mullen. Head, yes.
No, your mind.
Ah.
Not head, child. Heads.
Esto es muy revelador, pero no sé.
No, he's wicked smart in the stories. Like you, sir, of course. He's just a fictional character. He's no match for you. Maybe you can show me some real police work, sir. Like in the books. It's the type of book where there's a rich lady and she has to choose between the good man and the bad man.
Uy, a ver qué tal la moral en esta conversación
Or
sobre
there could be a
romance.
story about a poor lady getting a rich man. It's about man and lady business, sir.
Creo que va a acabar mal si va por
Maybe
ese
some about
camino.
other books? Oh, kings and queens and generals of old, or artists and writers, or musicians, those kinds of people. I think that's why people read them, to find the secrets.
Seems like most people who read those books fail to get more famous from reading them.
But it does make the famous people more famous. Why would they do that, sir? That's so cool. Maybe they'll make you a book cover picture and everything. Standing over a dead body, holding a gun.
The girl keeps her hands folded, hidden. Why is that?
What do you mean, sir?
She looks around anxiously. Her hands remain folded in front of her. The lieutenant stands by, looking at the two of you with little interest.
Eso va a sonar muy agresivo, pero quiero saber qué tiene en las manos.
She brings out her reddened hands, her nails frayed, nearly chewed down to the flesh.
Oh,
And you knew this from me keeping my hands folded? Well, that proves nothing. Anyone could do an easy deduction like that.
She nods, half provocative, half enthusiastic.
Maybe so, sir. Okay, I know it's a bad habit, and I shouldn't. It was okay, sir.
There's more that can be achieved here. Ask her to do the same.
You're quite sober.
The lieutenant does not flinch at the comment. He does not flinch even a single bit. He is intensely not flinching. It takes effort.
Because you usually aren't. I sure hope you are, sir.
There she stands, swaying on her feet, assaulted by the early spring breeze. She smiles at you. There's something you're missing.
ay, le voy a fallar, ¿para qué? Bueno, puedo reintentar más tarde.
Because you know each other. She's been talking to you so openly because you've talked before.
Yes, I stand in this spot all the time. You've been running around all week without your shirt on, sir, apologizing to everyone. I don't really understand what you've done wrong. Of course, you've stopped by a few times. You certainly look better than the last time I saw you. Yeah, I can see. You don't have party eyes anymore.
Party eyes. Yes, of course. That makes sense.
You know, like a cat in the dark, all big and wide-eyed. It certainly looks odd on a man.
Tenía
The
las
swiveling eyes
pupilas
of a loony drug
dilatadas.
addict. That is what she meant. You were probably gurning too. Fuck yeah. You should get some party eyes right now. Snap those sequins on you, boy. Oh, baby, that's not what you have to worry about. Worry about the important thing.
I didn't know I had to do that. I'm glad I could help you, sir.
Muy bien, a ver. ¿Qué me haría falta? Retórica. A ver, no tengo nada de constitución. Esto me caería bien. ¿Qué ventajas tiene? Muy bien. Deme uno de estos, por favor.
Yes? Hello? Me? No one. I'm just a working class woman.
She doesn't really want to be disturbed that much.
Ah, no.
If she's such
Había
a
una mujer,
working
¿no?
class
Entre
woman,
los
why
Parte
isn't
Boys,
she
o cómo se
working?
llamaban.
Not all the time. Right now I'm browsing books. Even a working class woman needs something to read. It is. I know you are. What with?
What with? A lot of things. For example, people tend to go missing.
¿Qué? ¿Desaparecido su marido? ¿Por qué?
Her hands move over the book covers. The tips of her fingers look rough, stained with yellow. It seems like she has spent a lot of time at work.
Va a ser
Smoking.
incorrecta esta pregunta, pero a ver.
My husband? No, he's not. I don't know. At home now? Out drinking with his friends? Working?
Where is this going, officer?
She gives you a short nod and shifts her attention back to books.
A ver, los hijos, pero... Esta no la voy a hacer.
No, absolutely not. Are you a policeman or a nanny? They are not missing, sir.
You know where they are. They're at home, smoking, given the ladder of vice.
I see. Thank
Bueno,
The
ya.
woman before you nods and returns.
A ver. Vamos a guardar. Y vamos a meternos en problemas. A ver.
I don't mean to disrespect, sir, but you are being a bit of a cockatoo here.
For what it's worth, I agree. But cockatoos can't be stopped when they get ladies. It's better to indulge him at this point.
I don't even have a cockatoo. And guess what?
It's a trap. Never ever say what.
Even if I had, it wouldn't be missing. Great. Nothing. Go read up on them if you're so interested. There's a great book in the bookstore.
Maybe you should. What if the cockatoo is your astral captain? Or your heraldic bird?
Wonderful. The store is open.
The woman before you nods.
Bueno, no estuvo tan mal, nos dieron una tarea.
Guillaume Lemillion.
Ah, miren.
Bad news. Guillaume Lemillion did not become a cop. In 38, he went on a tour to the Sinyao province in Safre, where he died of autoerotic asphyxiation. His body was found hanging from a decorative dragon tree in his...
A ver, vamos a buscar libros sobre cacatúas. Por aquí de seguro vamos a donde debemos ir, por la nevera. Magia fascista, dice.
This bookstore is not strictly about crime, romance, and biographies of famous people. There's also a wide range of paranatural literature. Amidst the various books, you find one written by someone named Matthias W. Dundas. It's about wholeness, unity, balance. These three things are very important to the working class mind. The point of the book, and many others on this shelf, is to give people medicinal advice in situations where they don't have access to paid health services. It serves platitudes, while also telling everyone that traditional medicine, the kind people don't have access to and which costs more than this book, is garbage and would only give you cancer anyway. Wholeness, unity, balance, on the other hand, can be when it's up to your mind to heal yourself. Then it's because of your mind that you're ill in the first place. The book features chapters on topics such as how to find magnesium. It even lists plants you can harvest magnesium from. How to continue drinking if you're an alcoholic who has destroyed his liver. And
eso nos interesa.
There's even a chapter on the ancient Seraïs tradition of using duck gallbladder preservatives to treat and prevent sexually transmitted diseases. Pre and post factum apply. Nothing. This is just mundane garbage. What's even paranatural about this? The throbbing in your head increases with every passing moment you gaze at this shelf. Suddenly, as if out of nowhere, a small green book becomes apparent. The title of it reads, Medicinal Purposes of the Pearl. The book contains very little explanation on the matter. This knowledge seems to be taken for granted. The book contains descriptions of various pseudoscientific therapies, alternative medicines, and folk remedies involving the Pearl, also known as le territoire. For example, it recommends vigorously swatting one's naked body with a venik or hand broom, made from the leafy twigs of a young birch tree from the near Pearl. It is supposedly invigorating and good for the circulation. It also recommends consuming distilled spirits like vodka or whiskey that have been aged in the Pearl. Readers are instructed to cover these jars in a shallow hole just inside the Pearl and leave them there for 30 to 60 days, depending on the potency desired. Among other benefits, it is alleged to restore a damaged liver to perfect health. That seems improbable. For general health and well-being, readers are encouraged to take regular strolls through the Pearl, though a sidebar cautions readers to limit each stroll to less than an hour. These strolls promise to cleanse the mind of worries and the body of toxins, especially if the perambulator performs this ritual in the nude. Nudity figures prominent. This is exactly what you need. There's an entire section devoted to cures for men who are struggling to perform their marital obligations.
Excuse me, sir. I believe you've been perusing that particular volume long enough. If you'd like to continue reading, I must insist you buy it. Indeed. Something about that book does seem to have spoken to you. Well, I hope it contains what you're looking for. Sir, please, no browsing in that shelf. That wisdom is not for free. I can't have you end up, like, opening a police store next door and stealing my customers. Oh, no.
The plaque on the shelf reads, "Biographies of famous people." You see a large variety of names, none of which ring a bell. Browsing through all the books with all their names makes your head spin. None of these seem important or relevant. It's all just vapid egoism. Suddenly, a particularly odd title catches your eye. It reads, "High Speed Love, the tragic true love story of Jacob." High Speed Love chronicles the romance between two of the finest tip-top tourney racers in history. One of them is the madcap driver. Next to Irv's life story, you see a slim biography of an Occidental rock star called the Anti-Star. He's famous for shooting. Next to that, Revacholian radio personality Guillaume Bevy stands in front of a rundown drug den. He's a permanent...
I really must insist you buy one of the books. Reading them is not for free. I'm sorry, I did not mean to rush you. You are browsing. Go ahead. Take your time. Time is commerce. I would say... The Greatest Innocence. Yes, most certainly. It's an important educational tool, delving into the depths of history, religion, and their relation to innocent... A very influential historical figure. But surely I don't have to tell you that. You're a law officer, and law officers have at least some education.
You know.
The book is also very daring. The author aims to re-examine the universal understandings of the innocentic system, creating a fresh vantage point and a shift in the tired order of things. Perhaps for a layman, deep analysis is necessary to peel back the
Do her words seem vague and abstract to you?
Certainly, it's prudent for a person to have at least an elementary understanding of history and society.
You feel like you should get this one. Definitely. It's important somehow. There's something personal inside.
A true cultural touchstone. Enjoy the read.
Bueno, ¿y el libro de las cacatúas?
A sulfur-crested cockatoo sits on the cover, its beak slightly open. It looks as if the bird is calling out the book title, From A to Zurich, a guide to a well-behaved cockatoo. Turns out that there are so many different cockatoo species, and you don't have behavioral problems. That's garbage. You're cool.
It's a must-have if you own a cockatoo. I've heard they're quite capricious.
Carito, vamos a intentar robarlo. Ojalá.
You wait for the storekeeper to be distracted. When she's not looking, you haul the tome of cockatoos into your pocket. It's quite a challenge, but eventually, the guide to the cockatoos is yours. Splendid effort.
No lo hicimos tan mal porque compramos libros, gastamos dinero. Este es
Several
un
maps
regalo
have been
extra.
attached to a bulletin board hidden inside the alcove.
Creo que nos lo
They're held
merecíamos.
up by small pins. The board has come loose from one corner. The maps look old and faded. Your eye catches a map of Insulinda, a map of Revachol, and a map of Martinaise. This large map displays archipelagos. You see a constellation of small dots on the light blue emptiness of the Insulindic Ocean. The largest in the Ozon, Laurentide, Fas Alamer, archipelagos, North Arcade Islands, disintegrating into mathematics. In the northeast, a dust mite stands on the north coast of Caillou in a bookstore. It's you. You can, on Caillou, Revachol, a single black star, on Ozon, Fondelier. 850 million people live on these little dots. An oceanic world of culture. The ocean breaks apart into a tangle of cosines and azimuths, all pointing into pale nothingness. Windy is the north azimuth. Grad is the connections to other worlds. Words past the Insulindian, and you have little idea what they are. Distant stars, gods, but looking at them makes you feel almost Perhaps they are gods. Gods of distance and outer dust. The north coast of a verdant island is shattered by the delta of a river. It is the river Esperance. Countless bridges put the shard to the east, rolling hillsides, Le Jardin, Stella Marie. The suburbs of Saint-Baptiste, swallowed up, Hudon. It's somewhere to live. Not bad. Then there's Jamrock. It's bad. People shouldn't live there, but they do. Then Forberg. It's so small you can't even see it on the map. No, wait. There it is, north of Jamrock, the strip of coast next to... No, this is somewhere to be. This is all you have. But it's still something. It's not really a map. It's a tourist thing. A picture postcard with buildings on it, drawn from an isometric perspective.
Ojalá lo podamos
The date
robar.
in the upper right corner. Still, it's detailed. Could be pretty useful for scouting ahead. You see the jagged box.
I'm sorry, officer. The map of Martinaise is the only one available. The other two are not for sale anymore. And besides, you could scarcely afford them.
Uy, me está diciendo pobretón. Chale.
They're quite valuable, though they might not look it. The map of Martinaise is 90 cents, though. Yes. Are you interested or not?
La vieja culera. Sí, deme el pinche mapa. A ver. No, vamos a comprarlo.
Always good to be informed of your surroundings.
These shelves are overburdened with books from the same series. You see the name Dick Mullen over and over. A couple of spook novels hide amidst all the detective books. Thrilling tales of spycraft and daring do.
Oh, crime, robberies, murders. even sexual crimes. We're fortunate to have Dick Mullen and his stories to sort all that out. You're a police officer, apparently. You should buy all of these. They
Todos.
really do teach a person how to be a proper detective.
Note, reading about Dick Mullen would not actually make you a better detective. Crime fiction is a disgrace, an asinine misrepresentation of the physical attributes of the arduous everyday work of these books greatly overstate the excitement of police work, glossing over how long it takes to actually follow up on leads and eliminate dead ends. What's more, they completely ignore the psychological hardships of not a single mention of all the stress this work creates upon the officer's family. Detective fiction just doesn't tell the truth at all. Now, would you like a list of all the books you see
démela.
Dick Mullen on the job? Get Me Mullen, The Stalwart Adventures of Richard P. Mullen, Dick Mullen and the Murder in the Orchard, The Sordid, A Killing is Declared, Dick Mullen in the Murder House, The Final Case of Dick Mullen, An Obvious Lie, Dick Mullen in the Clock Tower, The Ordeals of Dick Mullen, Dauntless Dick, Dick Mullen's Funeral Pyre, The
No.
Murder of Dick Mullen.
No creo que muera. Sherlock murió, ¿no? Creo que muere junto con Moriarty
Oh no,
y luego
turns
revive.
out he fated to solve a case.
Eh.
Yes, there's also The Dame Who Did It. Farewell, My Mullen. Faking death seems to be a common trope in the Mullen series. The morbid tales of tragedy calls for Dick Mullen. Another one with fake death. And, of course, Dick Mullen, the murderer. In order to catch a murderer, Dick Mullen must become the murderer. After all this, you still haven't found the answer to the one question that matters. Who is Dick Mullen?
¿Quién es?
Your quick eye notices a small caterpillar crawling across the spine of a book. The title reads, Dick Mullen and the Mistaken Identity. A worn paperback from Dick Mullen's classic Hard-Boiled Phase. The premise seems to be that Dick Mullen is framed for the murder of his best friend and has just a few days to prove his innocence. Could it be the motifs of unstable identities and shocking betrayals?
¿No habrá asesinado a alguien? ¿A su mejor amigo?
Perhaps you're drawn to the dark and noirish atmosphere. Is it because the smoking dame in the slinky red dress on the cover is giving you a hard-on? Yes, it is. The bulge in your pants is embarrassingly obvious. Relax. It's not that bad. Also, this means your blood flow is returning to normal.
Ah,
Good news.
Something the
mal.
matter, detective?
The lieutenant narrows his eyes and contemplates the book for a moment.
I would certainly say she fits that description, providing that's your type.
Está caro, no lo podemos robar.
Of course. Such violence and immorality. I mean, enjoy.
Bueno, compramos un chingo de cosas. A ver si por comprar cosas nos permite entrar a la
Welcome
bodega
to
esa.
crime, romance, and biographies of famous. Be welcome, and please take responsibility for the energy you bring into this space.
¿Qué? No entiendo esto que dice. Un segundo. ¿Me daría algo suelto? Es que parece que le va bien las cosas y me... No.
I am the proudest owner of our little shop of culture. Good goodness, you were already doing good, browsing the shelves. Why'd you stop? Don't you feel compelled? Go, go, get back there. The books await. Everything is on the shelves. Take a look yourself. The shelves compel you, don't they?
She smiles and nods, seemingly relieved.
Annette, yes, my daughter. I hope she wasn't slacking off again with her nose in science fiction. Tell me, was she at her post, doing her job like a proper girl?
¿Qué escaqueándose?
Wonderful! Did you talk to her? Great! On a scale of 1 to 10, how compelled were you to buy books after talking with her? My precious, her dedication brings joy to my heart. If you have children, I hope they turn out as great as my Annette. As a young girl should be, with the proper attitude, she'll have a bright financial future.
No sé si decir esto. Nos cierra las puertas para
The
mostrarnos
woman
a él.
before you scans the store, her shoulders rigid and tense. Every now and then, she nudges her glasses.
A ver ya, de una vez.
A fridge? No, I don't know anything about a fridge. Aren't you interested in books?
For whatever reason, she's lying to you about the fridge. Seems like you have to find your own way to the cellar.
Cursed? Who said that? Annette? I will have a word with her. This place is not cursed. It has a...
What in God's name is she talking about?
God. I've told her not to do that. It's such a disgusting habit. She'll get over it. Anxiety is a part of life. She can, if she has enough willpower. This is what's called growing pain.
Come on, ma'am. It's obvious she can't do anything about it. You are placing an unnecessary burden on a young child.
She stands stiff and severe, silently fuming. 10 or so seconds pass without. She's looking for one, but there simply aren't any good arguments for being an asshole.
Oh no. Hold on. I need to invite her inside and apologize. She must be freezing out there. I don't know what to say to you. My husband, he tries to teach me business lessons. I have what my mother called a dull mind. All this stress. Yes, my husband is a successful entrepreneur east of the river. If only he were more involved in the business we're running up here. No matter. Soon we'll both be off for Grand Couronne. It's a proper place to live. One of the most peaceful neighbourhoods east of Jamrock. Most of the buildings are empty at the moment. It's a great opportunity to get ahead of the crowds. Better times ahead for sure. He made the initial investment. Since then, he's been what you might call a silent partner.
Super silent, almost inaudibly so.
Yes, I'm afraid so. A real treat she is. It would be nice if she had... No, we couldn't have...
A glimmer of sadness blinks through the well-crafted exterior.
We're quite busy people, you know, my husband and I. Quite busy. Children are a lot of work. You don't look like a father. I'm sorry. I'm sure you do understand. She's been too busy helping me here. So she studied at home this trimester. This is I assure you, I of all people understand the importance of education.
And hell freezes over? Never mind. It's not a good topic to get into. The woman looks aloof, her features much softer. Occasionally she glances at her daughter's silhouette, Wow, you work hard. Oh, yes, you hustle. You're a provider. It's tough out there, but you keep it real and provide. Look at yourself. You're a human pedometer. You must have walked 200,000 steps down cracked asphalt, mosaic, sand. That is the sign of a hustler who never gives up. The world is harsh and people are evil. You didn't make it that way, and you won't let it break you. You ride. Oh, you do. You make money. You got gills, baby. Meaning those black papers with the faces of the innocent. It ain't easy, but you do it. Day in and day out. You didn't make the rules, but you won't lose. You're a cop and a sprinter and a money printer. Wasn't easy getting that giant novelty check from Everard. Took some ingenuity to get into the harbor, but you got in. Yeah, you're in the sales business. Shaken for shit and then, sure. And has it been easy? Is life easy? Have you not gone into cardiac arrest? Are you not about to have an anxiety attack or shoot your... Are you rich? That's right. You work harder than anyone. You almost rode yourself to the grave and you're still practically a hobo. Why is that? Because of the taxes. G-Man's got his jam-covered sticky fingers in your pocket, stealing from you every time you buy. Aren't taxes almost non-existent in the Gotham estate that is Revachol? You and I both, but they got those indirect modes of taxation. Sales tax, excise duty, extraction tax. This tax that doesn't... 98% of all your money. Here you go, hustler. Fight the righteous fight. Free the people. Keep it real. Keep it street. Keep foaming at the mouth. You see a set of tattered curtains blocking the way to another room.
Excuse me, officer. The back room is strictly for employees only.
You see some kind of charm, an irregular polyhedron assembled from bones, sticks, and straw. Inside, a disturbing fish head with empty eyes. This is a traditional Seminese ward, meant to provide protection against ill luck, bad dreams, curses, and other supreme inhabitants of Ile de Fantôme. The seminar, aside from poking at it suspiciously, there is nothing else to do with the fish head charm at this time. The curtains remain shut before you.
Nothing. Now please go back to browsing the books. Don't you feel compelled to look at the books? The books...
She speaks almost as if she's trying to put a spell on you. But oddly enough, the more she tries to draw you away from the curtains. Just as you're about to pull apart the curtains, the petrified voice of the shop owner cries out once more.
Sir, don't touch that. I told you it's off limits for the customers. Parapsychologically speaking, we're done if you decide to open them. I won't be held responsible for the consequences.
¿Qué carajo tendrá ahí?
She looks away, mumbling. Why is everyone always messing with the curtains? Why can't they just buy books like normal people?
Everybody suddenly needs something from there. Leave the curtains be. It's what it wants. No, it's just a storeroom for the employees, I told you. Now please step away from the curtains. Why? It's not like anyone was killed there. I'm sorry. I don't mean to be so impolite. Just please don't go there. I can't.
The curtains do seem frail suddenly, not robust enough to contain a slippery dark.
You do? My God. Even more reasons not to mess with the curtains. Just step away, dear sir.
Ahí vamos.
No! Please just talk to me, officer. Come here and let's talk this through before you decide to do anything extreme.
Talking is always good. Go see what she has to say. There is something mysterious about the curtains. Be careful. The curtains, tattered with age and covered in dust, hang before you, as if taunting you.
Aha!
You see a dimly lit room full of dusty furniture and trash. A doorway stands in the back, covered in dozens of scary little Seminese wards, your shadow looming over it like an omen.
I warned you. You're unleashing forces beyond your
Así
understanding.
está maldito el lugar. ¿Qué pedo? A ver. Hey, Kim se quedó. Es David Bowie. Ah. A ver qué hay aquí.
A heavy door with a missing handle stands before you, covered in dozens, if not hundreds, of Seminese trinkets and charms. It appears to be locked. What if you just break it down? That's right. Take in your surroundings. You need to have a solid ground and a proper posture if you want to succeed. Steady breathing. Solid core. You've got this. With one shoulder forward, you're ready to smash into the door like a... The room is dimly lit and littered with old barbershop rubbish. But the path to the... It's made of a solid block of wood, but it has stood there for ages. The hinges are old and coated with a carmine layer of rust. It should be doable.
Lo voy a cagar, pero... podemos reintentar, ¿no? Mierda.
Ow. Shoot. Whose moronic idea was it to just run through the door? Don't you know that things like that hurt?
Are you alright? This looked...
What is going on there? Are you... I warn you, don't tempt the spirits, officer. Don't tempt the spirits or you'll damage the holy wards on the door.
It barely looks like you've done any damage to the door, however. It's still locked and closed, covered in dozens of little charms and trinkets.
Decía llamar a la policía.
A
Eso no
heavy
lo
door with a
probamos.
missing
No,
handle
somos los...
stands before you.
llamar a la
Only
policía.
echo. No one is a hollowed out dark echo.
A ver, si leemos los libros, espero que no se tarde uno mucho. Vamos a guardar. A ver, ¿cuánto tiempo llevamos? Dijimos que 1 hora. Hora y media. Vamos a leer. Por lo menos el de la cacatúa. Para completar la tarea. ¿Cuál era? Este.
A cockatoo is a parrot with an erectile crest, found on the Seminine Islands and in southern Fas a la Mer. Known for their intelligence and general precociousness, cockatoos are popular birds in aviculture. However, they often exhibit various behavioral issues. This book talks about the delicate nature of toos, as well as introducing some of the most popular species among the bird enthusiasts. The funeral cockatoo, the major majestic cockatoo, and the most common bang bang cockatoo. It's colorfully illustrated. Where to even begin? All cockatoos are known for their needy natures, requiring attention for at least 2 full hours a day. They love to talk and have been described as lovable clowns who just don't know how to wrap up. Pet owners also report moodiness, loudness, and hostility as recurring issues. If left unsatisfied, cockatoos may scream non-stop, pluck their feathers, or become. It is not recommended to get a cockatoo if you're not able to cook them food every day and give them the full care that they need. These birds will never understand that you have a life of your own.
Su cosa.
You're right. Cockatoos are magnificent creatures. They love to perform, cuddle, and show off, and will even scream for fun, often as loud as up to 135 decibels. Ouch, that must hurt. Not great for the neighbors. Performing? Yes, birdie. This is a yellow-tailed black cockatoo. Its specific name, Psittacus venereus, relates to its dark and somber plumage. This bird looks as if dressed for a funeral, 24/7. There is something indisputably ominous about it. Perhaps the most impressive of all the species, the endangered major majestic cockatoo, is often described as the most flamboyant bird in the jungle. Its pink-colored wings and flowing crest embellishing its proud and bumptious. In the words of poet-explorer Sir James Fournier, few birds more enliven the monotonous hues of it must be glorious to behold, dark pink and snow white. Despite its banging name, the bang bang cockatoo is actually the shyest of the species, common in almost all Seminese forests, as well as zoos and homes all over the world. Its plumage is mainly grey and white. The Seminese name, bang bang, yes, but all those cockatoo species are so different. Which one are you? You're right. You're Psittacus venereus embodied. This ominous bird belongs on your heraldry. An intricate web of blue lines stretches across the torso. It almost looks like the electronic patterns for you to someone who knows. The Greatest Innocence by João Paulo Salomão Lopes de Fuego. The book is large and heavy. Browsing through the various chapters, you try your best to understand the ceaseless overflow, the sprawl of names, dates, places, events historical. Most of it ends up as a twisted mass of facts inside. Your educational survey is done. Did you catch any of that? No. Oh well, it's pop quiz time. Let's see what you've learned. This might take a few minutes. That's the spirit. Here we go. Question 1. Who was the first innocence? Oh yeah, this is what I was made for. A pop quiz is a short examination designed to test your knowledge without any prior warning or announcement. Thanks for nothing. Dolores Day. Dolores. Incorrect. Dolores Day was the innocence of humanism, internationalism, and the welfare state. She codified parliamentary democracy, and her colors are silver, white, and apricot. And when you think her name, Dolores, stomach acid rises to the back of your throat, and it hurts. You see a flash silver. Steer clear of this one. There's something terrible about this one. A strange sensation of loss. When she left the earth, the dust, and the ice, and the humans. That is unimportant to the quiz. Stop thinking about this. Yes, the quiz is impersonal. No need to rouse sensations in yourself at the mention of Dolores Day. Who was the first innocence? It wasn't Dolores Day. Correct. Nothing much is known about him. It's not even clear that he was a he, but Franco Negro presumed as such and called him Pius. He's depicted as a young man with molten gold pouring out of his mouth. All he spoke was gold. It said he invented God and equality of men before God. He also introduced the gold standard as the first innocence. He declared that there should be more of those like him. It is presumed his disciples. With question 2, who was the strongest in easy? Everybody knows the answer to this. You, me, anybody.
No sé si soy un completo idiota, pero es difícil, por lo menos para mí, el lore de este juego. ¿No? Quiero pensar que es esta parte lynchiana, ¿no? Pues, son cosas que pasan y no tienes que entenderlas, ¿no? Simplemente interiorizarlas y dar tu versión. No existe una versión real, ¿no? Sino la del receptor. Pero yo qué sé, a lo mejor soy un idiota y punto. A lo mejor está todo clarísimo.
An innocence is the highest category of historical personage in the world, a literal personification of history. Traditionally, an innocence, when anointed, assumes supreme rule over the Occident or the known world in general. I can do better. Okay, so commonly an innocence does not enforce his or her power through military power. This is seen as unnecessary. The innocence wins because an innocence can't help but win, for their deeds are damn great. Dolores.
No.
Incorrect.
Mierda.
Vespa Messina is not a person, but a defunct state on the southeastern coast of the Occident. It used to take up most of the peninsula, before separating
No va a ser
into the
Dolores.
republics of Incorrect.
Mierda,
Again,
les dije
while
que
she
no era.
originated many modern institutions, launched several successful expeditions, and was even critical of the Innocentic system itself, even though the words most associated with her rule are l'amour, la compassion, la autodiscipline. Love, please, relax. Correct. Named the innocence of militarism, he codified hereditary rule, but at the same time ended serfdom, and his Franco-Negro attempted to solve the rising tensions between the aristocracy and bourgeoisie by building a unified society in which every man has a place and a mission. But at the same time, question 3, who got it under control? No problem. Solid on this one. It's widespread historical information. Yes, there exists a group called the Founding Party, known as the Holy Party, during the time of the Pericarnacian. This, the world's oldest international organization, spends its time in search of either the re-emergence of the innocents. There seems to be a mix-up with the sources. At least it clearly wasn't Dolores Day. She wouldn't be false. She's beautiful.
Si dice que no, entonces es que sí.
No, stop thinking it. I said it wasn't her. She was true.
Ok.
Correct. There have been a number of counter or false innocences, some assumed to have innocentic qualities, some who just thought so themselves. Occasionally, they have the support of the most famous and important of these was Ernest Pasternak. He was into torture, despotism, hymns, cannons, and final stretch. You've come so far and learned so much. This is the most important one. Question 4. Who was the greatest innocent? I've got
Dolores.
it, honest. Of course, this is my thing, the reason I exist in this world. The correct answer is Franco Negro. 0 doubts.
Dolores.
Correct. The mess might see Franco Negro as the father of nations, but as of this century, there's been a great shift in attitude. Dolores Day has become widely regarded as the greatest innocence. A most radical everything from inter-esolary travel to the connected world to 3 consecutive scientific revolutions can be traced back to congratulations on finishing the test. The results and your subsequent grade have been calculated. You get a D, not particularly remarkable, but technically a passing grade. Not that you would have done better if you just left Dolores Day for the end. Dial the Dolores Day down a bit.
What's going on with you? Okay.
You are shouting at an inanimate object, like a real weirdo. No wonder you seem to have trouble with the right answers.
A ver, el mapa no es lo que me falta.
The worn map features the patchwork grid of the streets of Martinez, with directions to appropriately touristy locations. Year 48 reside. Your finger moves through the various streets, across Rue de Saint Lane and Rue Sunset, finally coming to a halt on the spot where you are currently.
For a more detailed view of the map, go to your journal and select the Map tab.
Cool, por fin tenemos un puto mapa. No hemos salido de aquí, de esta zona.
You've hurt yourself now. I told you not to mess around back there. What are you even trying to accomplish, you fool? You're only making things worse. Stop it. Be compelled to look at the books. Hello again, esteemed officer, and welcome to Crime.
Ah, es la morrilla, ya entró.
I'm sorry, sir. I can't talk right now. I'm very busy with my homework.
You just can't win. Out of the rain and into the gutter.
Math. It's really difficult. Like, really. They say you need it to get rich. Better than standing outside in the cold, I guess. Oh, I found something while you were away. I thought this would fit you. Like, thanks for helping out.
Hey.
Not me. The city, I mean. Like a detective does. Just what Dick Mullen would ask. I got it from behind the curtains. I'm not really supposed to go there.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe. It's the hat Dick Mullen wears all the time. He'll look way more serious with that. Right, I have to get back to my homework now, before Mum notices. Man, this is hard.
Ah, no, va aquí. Hey, me den +1 en enciclopedia. Cool. Aquí ya
The
revisamos.
display rack is brimming with worn paperbacks featuring an extremely muscular, sword-wielding barbarian on the cover. Nearly all the titles contain the word Heimdall somewhere.
Oh, Man from Heimdall. A very popular series of adventure novels. They're awfully immoral and violent books. Blood and violence, scantily clad women, epic narratives, all those mystical things he encounters. They're bound to grab those with little imagination and nothing to do. What does it matter? They're all the same. However, the customer is always right, they say. If you're a novice of the series, I'd recommend Heimdallaman, the man from Heimdall. It's supposed to be a good introduction to the series.
Uy, es carísimo, no me alcanza.
Rows and rows of Heimdallamen blur your vision. You make out some titles. Man from Heimdall and the Mammoth Riders. Man from Heimdall. Return to Heimdall. Maybe 100. Man from Heimdall and the Sages at the End of the World. Not even close. Man from Heimdall in Hell. Man from Heimdall and the Forest of Slaves. Man from Heimdall under the lake. Man from Heimdall. Heimdall burning. There's even The Trial of Death, a pastoral combat gamebook set in the world of Heimdallaman, and so much more. A twinge at the back of your head makes you flinch. Your eye starts twitching. Your hand reaches toward a book with glossy cover art of the very muscular Man from Heimdall in chains, kneeling in front of a staircase leading to a throne. A woman, she's laughing at him, belittling him. Between the throne and the Heimdallaman lies a bonfire, casting shadows on the wall. The shadow of the woman's headdress looks like a pair of devil horns. The title reads, Man from Heimdall, and especially those leering types who seem to wear nothing but an armored bikini. There's also some sort of a snake lizard beast slithering around. It's symbolic of vice and sin. The display rack before you is burdened under piles of Man from Down novels.
Ah, no me alcanza. Estaba pensando, ¿no podríamos vender los libros?
It's just a racist mug.
Miren, porque esto no tiene precio. Bueno, ya encontraremos dinero de alguna manera.
Excuse me? I don't know. The most talkative one? The what now? You truly are one strange cop, aren't you?
The woman before you nods and returns. This coin-operated viewer is facing southwest. Its coin slot is full of fossilized bubblegum, rendering the metal feels cold and wet under your palm. It looks unhygienic. A thick layer of graffito covers the lenses. You spell out the word Onug written on the other side. That's Kuno on the lens. Under the graffito, a sea of blues and greys appear. Behind the water lies a coast, studded with concrete and reeds. You know this to be the star of Pericarnassus, or the Cairo, the central symbol of the Pericarnassian church, a star, a great moral height. The church looks old and weather-worn. There are no lights in the windows. Around the large wooden building, you see chunks of sea ice gathered on the beach, and a small tent set up on the ice.
Probably some kids.
A simple but clever solution to ruin in a coin-operated viewer. It took ingenuity. This coin-operated viewer is facing south. The instruction manual says to insert 25 centimes and pull the handle while looking inside. Why place a tourist attraction in the middle of such poverty?
There was a revitalization project in '49. A design studio tried restoring Martinez to its pre-war glory. It didn't stick. They got as far as the street lamps and that statue on the intersection before something went sour. I suspect it was Evrard's Claire's doing. He muscled them out. It's how it usually goes around here. We should have done something about the Union 10 years ago. That ship has sailed, officer.
Your money disappears into the coin slot. A clunk, the ring of metal. The curtains on the display open. You lean in to catch the view. It's blurry, different blues and greens. In the middle of the shimmer stands a drab grey shape. The lenses shift. The ghost sharpens into an islet in the bay. In the ruins, a man-made structure is visible. A half-sunken sea fort. Its concrete almost reconquered by nature. It looks as if it was abandoned quite some time ago. Nothing but a rotten tooth remains of the anti-aircraft tower. A lonely birch tree.
Really? I don't have the eyesight to make it out. Really?
Whoa, what have we here? A bridge with loose nails and rot-infested wood that creaks in the wind. A construction code violation if there ever was one.
Sure, they never cleaned up the war damage. The rest of Revachol looks better, though. The bridge is fine enough. Locals use it all the time, after all. It's nothing to worry about. Shall we?
Hey! Up here, Piggo! The streets will flow red once more. A great torrent rushing down Rue de Esperance. You wait and see.
The streets will not flow red with anything.
I'm Cindy the fucking Skull. What else do you want to know? Date of birth, blood type, the last time I was tested for Hep C. And here I was trying to be polite. Just can't win with you pigs.
A brush, an artist. The red splatter is urban expressionism.
Can't you tell? I'm painting a beautiful mural. I haven't really started it yet. I'm waiting for the right words. Have you ever tried your hand at graffiti-o? When faced with a blank wall, most people write unimaginative. We rarely see pigs round here, though. Just union cards. And my name's not Mona, so... This place is severely lacking in havoc. Not even the occasional trash can fire to break up the... I thought I'd mix it up. Yeah? Thanks. I'm sure the inspiration will come to me now that...
She means the opposite. The lieutenant furrows his brow at another one of your eccentricisms. Hatred, disgust. It's difficult to tell which of the two the woman on the boat does not notice.
That Ozon her. Someone's got to keep an eye on her.
Ozon is an archipelago 2 days' travel away from Revachol. Its moneyed residents used to posh restaurants and upscale.
Probably the Wild Pines rep. We should talk to her. She's a professional negotiator, though. I have the feeling she will be very cooperative. You should take the lead. Ask her unexpected questions, you know? Do your thing. Don't be afraid to get a bit wild.
Good idea, piggies. Run along now. Fuck her shit up good. Impound that boat while you're at it. I'd like to watch her swim back to us on. I ain't no snitch, pigstein. Go forth and forage in someone else's shit.
Actually, there is a shortage of people who talk to us in a normal, calm.
We weren't put on this earth to make your life. Watch your back, ungulate. You've got eyes.
A striking woman leans against the cabin top of her sailing boat, smiling as you approach. Her green raincoat glistens with droplets. A silk scarf is tied around her throat.
Good evening, officers. I'm Joyce. Joyce L. Messier. I represent the board of Wild Pines, the owners of the harbour. You gentlemen must be from the RCM. I'm glad to see you here.
Like steel, there is strength there. If she wanted, she could sink her nails.
I was dispatched to handle a strike, not a lynching. Anything I can do to assist the RCM in this matter, I will, gladly.
That is good to hear, madame. My colleague will take the lead on this interview. I should let you know that he is recovering from an unusual medical episode. Very unusual. But I can assure...
There's a trace of irony in his voice. Mischief, even. It happens quicker than a shooting star. But did the lieutenant just wink at you?
How interesting. I wish you a swift recovery. In the meanwhile, you have my full cooperation, and the full cooperation of the Wild Pines group. What we do. I'm afraid I don't speak for Wild Pines as a whole.
There was a touch of discomfort there. She wants to merely represent.
The Pines' core competency is logistics. Container shipping, freight, that sort of thing. And that is the terminal. Another subdivision deals with energy, oil and gas exploration, offshore platforms.
The Wild Pines Group is one of the original Revacholian Indo-tribes. Companies awarded royal monopolies by the king, the suzerain himself, centuries ago. The king is long gone, but several of the Indo-tribes remain. Saint-Baptiste, Elysium, an unknown entity known as Brightest Star.
Why, thank you. I'm not at liberty to discuss the company balance sheet, but I can tell you that last year, the company booked more than 20 billion real in revenue. And to think, there are years when the group books losses in the billions. Wild Pines employs 72,000 people, all of whom have families that depend on their salaries. They started as an exploration and cargo fleet conducting trade between the Samaran and Insulindian Easterlers 250 years ago. Centuries of care, deliberation, and madness have gone into this endeavor. Vessels pass through the great unrest to re-emerge with apricots in tow. The logic of the system is totalizing. It's taken everything from its employees to build it. You mean aside from being the terminal's legal owners, who are responsible for moving 8% of the world's cargo? We built this district.
We. There it.
All the best parts of it. Rue de Saint-Ghislain, with its bastions, the plazas Meteor and Mosaic, even some before Martinez was swallowed by the industrial harbour, even before it was part of Revachol, a company getaway, for a weekend or a summer holiday. Then came the revolution. But that's another matter. I'm here to make sure the Pines can...
With your help, hopefully, says her warm tone.
Why, yes I am. Officer, I assure you,
The crowns of her teeth are porcelain, white as the boat's hull as she smiles. Her nonchalance might be related to something called the Wayfarer Act, a law that says she doesn't need a license. Sly fox, you're not aggressive enough to harass her further.
Of course there are. We're on an archipelago. How else are you supposed to get around? I mean, we are on Le Caillou.
Technically, the neighboring Ozone and Fas Alamer island groups are archipelagos, while La Caillou, by contrast, is a single fertile landmass, the fourth largest island in the world. It is not an archipelago.
Okay, if you want to get technical, the point is we're all on islands here, and sail is still the most expedient way to get from one island to another. Especially, I haven't seen anyone else drive a souped-up Capri Kenay.
Actually, that motor carriage has been specially issued to serve as a patrol and pursuit vehicle. It's for crossing long distances in the greater Revachol industrial hub.
Neither is this. A toy, I mean. It's a machine for crossing long distances in the Bay of Revachol. But
You need to make this lady admit she's only riding around on this boat because she's rich. Why what? Stop thinking. Take her down. Before you do, it might be pertinent to ask a few more questions. Learn whatever you can.
oh my, the E word. You mean to say that it's a symbol of conspicuous consumption? That I'm a member of the ruling class?
Detective, may I remind you that Mrs. Messier is a professional negotiator.
Then what does that say? Does it say docking reserve 33A? This old proletarian haunt here? As I said, plenty of people drive boats, of all social strata.
Your synapses flesh.
Okay, it is anti-centennial. I assure you, they drove quite a hard bargain for this. I am a bourgeois woman, and this is my fast, lightweight, interminably bourgeois boat. The boat? No. It is called Cor de Leyte 19, because that's the type of sloop it is. It's a pleasure craft, a 19 pacer. It also happens to be rated for Category 1. My sloop? I like it a lot.
I'm enjoying this part of the interview. It has so little to do with the murder we're investigating.
Good. Everything. Right up to, but not including, trade secrets. I believe the official title is Senior Labor Negotiator. In practice, I'm a grocery clerk.
And how are the talks going?
They're not. That's the problem. The unions...
Wait, she just admitted that the lynching and the strike are connected.
Now they won't even let me into the harbour. There's a 2-meter 20 racist behemoth blocking the gates. Yes, I believe there is a connection, but that's a subject for later. Let's say I was not making the kind of progress I'd hoped for when I first arrived.
And when did you first arrive?
I arrived 3 weeks ago. Yes, in the middle of February. The bay was still partially frozen then.
But the strike began in December.
I wasn't the original negotiator here. I took over after Mr. Gaumont hit a wall with Mr. Clare, the union boss. Mr. Clare refused.
This isn't the first time the union has gone on strike.
Heavens, no. There have been 2 prior strikes. Both times the union won significant concessions, including overtime pay.
Ludicrous, even. It's meant.
There are leaflets everywhere, and banners. Every worker, a member of the board.
Most of the workers probably don't know what that means. She nods.
Everard Clare is a man of the utmost integrity. If you can say one thing about him, it's that he always puts the interests of course not. Everard is fantastically corrupt. I imagine he has a thick, viscous goo where...
If you were to prick it with something sharp, you could see it oozing out. A knife, maybe? No, a rapier.
He is the most corrupt individual I have ever seen, and I deal with men like him for a living. If there is anyone more venal, more irredeemably nepotistic, then it's his twin brother, Edgar. Yes, Edgar looks exactly like his brother, except for that lazy eye. He also talks exactly like Everard does, and when one's... It's how they circumvent the term limits, you see, with a funny little switcheroo. While in office, they've embezzled God knows how much of their workers' dues. The Débardeurs Union was once a perfectly normal institution. 20 years ago, anyway. It must not have been easy to establish organized labor at its best, as they say. Then something happened in the local...
A mob. The Débardeurs are a crime syndicate. Sad as it...
Refreshingly honest, officer. The company has tried appeasing in the past, but... And your opinion, detective, if I may ask. I'm a curious and talkative person, you see. Would you say the Débardeurs Union is... Of course, officer. Mr. Clare told him to... Fuck off, midget. Gaumont is short of stature, you see. Yes. Keep in mind, this is a negotiator Mr. Clare has worked with before. The scabs? You mean the huddled masses of Jamrog, come to plead for...
Don't let her answer it herself.
If they were organized by Wild Pines or its affiliates, then it would be a company secret. I could not share it with you.
It's implied. She's open to discussing this matter with you at a later occasion.
I'm glad you asked. There was a woman, the previous forewoman of the Union.
Disappeared?
Yes. On the last day of the local chapter elections, her daughter phoned in and said she wasn't running anymore, or coming to work.
This forewoman, her name?
Sadly, the company records do not even give a name. She's just forewoman in private correspondence, Holly. I don't even know if it's a sir or given name, and I don't have access to the union's file. Indeed. The company suspects foul play, but there's nothing they could... The point of the presentation is, these kinds of things happen around the Clares.
Thank you for your concern, ma'am. We'll be just fine.
Of course. How else can I help? You have.
Finally, time to choose sides.
Of course, Detective. Excuse...
The RCM does not pick sides in this. I hope it doesn't come off any...
Of course. And I don't expect you to share anything he told you with me. How could I stop you? Are we not human? Are we not curious?
Intellectually speaking, it would be quite interesting to hear what she has to say about these things.
Of course, Detective. Should something... Until then, is there anything I can help? Quite a few things, I'm afraid. The information I'm to share with you includes sensitive trade secrets. For the sake of my employer, I have to ask for your names and badge numbers.
Of course, ma'am. We should have introduced ourselves. I am Lieutenant Kitsuragi from Precinct 57. And
Because
this
no
is my
tengo
colleague
placa.
from Precinct 41, Detective Dubois. I'm afraid Harry doesn't have his badge at the moment. I hope mine will suffice.
Oh, and what happened to yours, Detective? I see. So, are you saying you lost your badge during the course of this episode? I can't hear you, darling. Speak up, please.
Oh, que la chingada. No vamos a decir que fue una borrachera, fue un episodio médico.
Oh dear. Some kind of encephalopathic amnesia. I do believe you, naive as that may sound. I simply can't imagine what you gain by faking.
As I said, ma'am, his technique may be very unconventional, but he is an officer.
Of course, I sympathize. But I'm afraid I simply can't share anything more until I've seen that badge.
She's a professional negotiator. She should be open to some sort of mutually beneficial arrangement.
Of course. But before we do, officers, let me be perfectly clear. The situation is extremely volatile. The sooner we can speak about this lynching business, the better for all of us. I'm afraid I can't say any more until we've taken care of formal protocol. Of course. But the situation is extremely volatile. The sooner we can speak... That's the man who was killed. I'm afraid this is a discussion for once we've cleared the lynching question. Better not tie the fourth day to the bat's day on this. I hope there is something else I can help you with. This reality...
Yes, reality is an experimental side case.
Ah, yes. The episode...
Don't be phased, madame. He functions perfectly well.
We may be here a while then. Ask away, officer. I'll help however I can.
All right, we're in. I know these all look good, but begin with the first, okay?
We're in Martinez, baby. Martinez is a district of Revachol. A very small district tucked away near the industrial harbour. You would be excused for not knowing about it. Unimportant, they say. Forgotten, even. Shelled to smithereens during the revolution. I'm not a good ambassador. I've only been here once before, as a teenager. Not a lot has changed. As I told you, Martinez used to be a province, a workers' resort before the city swallowed it and the artillery did its part. Now the reeds are the reals. It's not really a sea, it's the Bay of Revachol. Yes, we're on an island.
Known to the early Revacholians as Les immensités vast, lukewarm and unknowable, flowing in.
Caillou, as you already know. Imagine a pebble.
It is clear this pebble is and to humanity at large.
Revachol? Revachol is what you call the great kind.
As if it's self-explanatory, beyond patriotism.
History detective. They built this city to resolve history. Our part in it, the nations of the Occident, or migrant workers from Seminine and Ile Marat, depending on your creed, in the DeLorean century. 300. They say it's where the terrible questions of our time will be answered. The tensions are highest, the fault lines deep. By that I mean conflicts. Ideological conflicts. We are standing on a fertile, self-sufficient island able to sustain up to 200 million people in the middle of the Insulindic Ocean, the world's connective tissue. It's where the money is. Oh, we're quite a way off. About
a sparkle of lights on the horizon, like evening's
22 kilometers from the center of the world. That soldering iron is the bank of the world building. The bottom floors are in
silence. The water, the light. There is no recognition, only the immensity of the sea and the cold radiating from it.
We are where we are. I have no truer answer to give, unfortunately.
This is one thought you need to complete. Where are you?
Was there something else you wanted to know? I remember something.
This has been informative. Thank you, ma'am. I'm sure my memory-impaired partner has many more questions to ask. About even more fun. Might I suggest not asking them all right now? Madame Messier will be here later too, and tomorrow.
Absolutely. My commitment here is long-term.
That is understandable, but perhaps it's better.
Indeed. I'm always at your service. What I am not.
There may be a way to get her speaking about herself at some later juncture.
Glad to have been of assistance. The little that I know. And of course, detective. Take.
Wow, so someone's been a little boring. Yes, my standard liege. Someone's seen all sorts of wild ideas pop off and thought, I'll take the boring one. The regular, please. The brown. Of course you do. Maybe some regulations and a usual pistol to go with them. It's official. My lord's coppo type is regular cop. I'll let everyone know. I'll send out a telefax. Done and done. No actual communiques will be sent, of course. That would be too dramatic. Hey. Psst. Psst. Hey, you. Yes, you. Word on the street is you're ready to start building communism again. You keep saying things like, down with the bourgeoisie, eat the rich, sodomize the landowners, impale all people who have more than 25 real in their pockets. Literally murder all. Okay, not in so many words, but don't deny it. You're about to rip off that mask of social democracy. Everyone can see that. So tell me, do you have any questions before we fire up the big communism builder? Or do we get right down to it? Very well. I guess no one will build communism then. Tell the working man no objections. It's mathematically impossible. Anyone? There's no one. Okay then, lie down and let the war. A sturdy metal door guards the southwest entrance. The door rattles against your knuckles. The door rattles again, but...
Stop banging on the door! I'm not letting any more strangers inside. The police? Everyone knows the police don't come round here. No, I already told you. Go check the backyard door.
Backyard door? There must be another entrance to the east.
Madame, I assure you, we are real police officers.
There is no reply. Just faint, sweeping sounds. This is a wall on the side of an apartment building. You have no clue. It's just a wall. So many walls all over Martinaise, weather-worn.
Are you trying to sneak up on me? Come to...
Apparently, she doesn't like logic error. She's...
Pigs come to take me out! Trying to snuff me out! Then why are you sneaking up on me like that?
There must be another way into the building.
Hey, what's that noise down there?
This must be it. The basement door is weather-worn. The copper nails holding the upholstery in place have turned green from sea air, and there's a knocker shaped like a lion's head. You try to be as silent as you can. It takes a bit of rattling of... Finally, the door unlocks with the sound of the key turning still echoes in the yard. There's nothing else to do than to leave and tell Everard. No, there might be important information in the... This is the flag of Revachol, the suzerainty. This isn't just one sun, but there are little suns dancing around the big sun. This is the sevenfold. It's an optical atmospheric anomaly the first settlers saw. Happens in cold weather. 6 small suns around the big one. This complex halo phenomena is how old Revachol got its flag.
The tenant is an old-fashioned guy.
By old-fashioned, he means very right-wing. The flag doesn't seem to mind. It's just a colorful fabric with a sun sewn onto it. A row of mugs sits on the shelf. Each one depicts a human figure. A dark-skinned woman grinning amidst mysterious symbols. A broad-shouldered man shoveling potatoes. And a little ring. Though cheerful, the image, there's something disdainful in the way the curves and lines of the bodies were drawn. It looks like the artist is celebrating diversity, but underneath, he's just making fun of these people. You ain't gonna change someone's mind by calling them. The lieutenant picks up one of the mugs, then puts it.
I'm beginning to feel better about breaking into this man's apartment.
Yes, your broken mug friend would feel very much at home here. The same humor, the same...
There's the missing tin soldier. Whoever lives here might have used the Whirling's container to dump his trash. And now they've drawn the ire of the Union.
An interesting little clue. Let's see where this goes. Clues ever... Perhaps you should break into apartments more often.
Who knows? I'm not expecting too much from this clothes in the trash lead either way. It might turn out to be some random local matter.
You could ask Everard who this person is once you're done here. A row of mugs sits on the shelf.
Podríamos hablar con el de arriba, pero es tarde. Vamos a pararle aquí. Suficiente hemos tenido.